Are you sure you know everything about women, the intricacies of love, and the secret springs of human behavior? Get ready to have your established ideas crumble to dust. We are going on a fascinating journey through the labyrinths of psychology, where each revelation is capable of not only surprising, but also revolutionizing your consciousness. The information you're about to receive promises to be so stunning that you may return to it more than once, rethinking your experience. There will be no easy answers, but there will be food for thought that can change your view of the world and, more importantly, of yourself. Ready to take a risk? Part 1. The first revelation about intimacy and the female body. And so we begin our dive. If the content that makes your brain move and expands the boundaries of the familiar resonates with you, then know that your subscription is the best currency of gratitude for our efforts. And of course, a few words in the comments about what particularly caught your attention or raised questions will help us make the following materials even more interesting. After all, we work specifically for you, striving to lift the curtain on the most intriguing mysteries. Many have noticed that after intimacy, a woman often seeks continued emotional contact. This is not a whim, but a deep need. While a man is sometimes inclined to simply turn away and fall asleep, a woman craves tenderness, confidential conversations, warm embraces. This is a stark contrast, a vivid illustration of how differently men and women can perceive the very essence of intimacy. As Sigmund Freud astutely noted, we do not choose each other by chance. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. Perhaps this desire for emotional fusion after physical one is the very same subconscious search for confirmation of the connection. Interestingly, genuine sexual satisfaction can trigger a real cascade of positive experiences in a woman, which tend to accumulate and intensify over time. There is another interesting point. Women who are not afraid to explore their bodies, touch themselves with tenderness and curiosity, often demonstrate higher levels of hormones responsible for sexual desire. This is direct evidence of the inextricable link between physical self-awareness and sexual health. Think about it. Your body is not just a vessel, but an inexhaustible source of amazing discoveries and pleasures. How to build behavior in intimate relationships to achieve true harmony? Here is an observation that can turn your usual strategies upside down. Pleasantly surprising a woman during intimacy turns out to be incomparably more effective than trumpeting about your imaginary or real talents in advance. Ask why loud statements create inflated expectations, which, alas, can easily turn into disappointment. But a spontaneous act of tenderness, an unexpected burst of passion, an original compliment, these are the surprises that stick in the memory and are truly highly valued. On the other hand, a woman's lack of interest is often conveyed through subtle, almost invisible signals. For example, she may carefully avoid direct eye contact. If, on the contrary, her gaze meets yours and holds longer than usual, this is usually a sure sign of sincere sympathy and attraction. These seemingly insignificant gestures can tell more than lengthy monologues and serve as invaluable indicators of her true feelings. Part 2. Female orgasm and the mind. Amazing facets of sexuality. And now, dear viewers, get ready for facts that may seem fantastic, but nevertheless they concern female sexuality and the uniqueness of her body. Have you ever heard that there is a small but real percentage of women who are able to reach the peak of pleasure solely through mental stimulation? Yes, you heard right. About 1 in 100 women can experience an orgasm using only the power of their imagination and intense thought. Isn't this a reason to think about the limitless possibilities of the human mind? Sigmund Freud wrote, "The masses have never known a thirst for truth. They demand illusions without which they cannot live. But understanding your own sexuality is exactly the case when illusions give way to amazing reality. Even more amazing is that the clitoris is a recognized organ in the human body that is virtually unaffected by the aging process. It retains its incredible sensitivity and functionality throughout a woman's life, giving her the opportunity to experience pleasure. Moreover, the average duration of a woman's orgasm, according to some data, can be 4 times longer than a man's. This information once again emphasizes how incredibly complex, multifaceted, and, unfortunately, still insufficiently studied and understood the female body and its sexual potential are. Part 3. Various facts and a man's perspective. Let's touch on some interesting facts about both women and men, and consider a man's perspective on certain aspects. Let's start with male physiology. The testicles are capable of producing a staggering number of sperm, about 100, with every heartbeat. This clearly demonstrates the powerful reproductive potential inherent in the male body. In the social sphere, research shows that a person is capable of maintaining truly healthy and deep connections with about 100 people throughout their lifetime. This figure reflects the natural cognitive and emotional limitations of our ability to form and maintain meaningful relationships. An interesting observation concerns the first date. It is said that about 80% of men automatically, almost unconsciously, pay attention to a woman's breasts. This is neither good nor bad. It is simply a statement of a behavioral pattern, probably rooted in the depths of evolutionary psychology. And when a woman feels attracted, she can involuntarily show this with subtle gestures, such as lightly licking her lips during a conversation. A small touch, but with a very powerful nonverbal message. In the modern world, many couples are discovering the idea of watching adult content together. And as observations show, this can have a positive effect on their relationships. An increase in intimacy, trust, and mutual commitment is noted. Such an experience helps to break down some internal barriers and openly discuss your desires and fantasies. Let's remember the wise words of Mark Twain. There are two most important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you figure out why. This phrase is especially relevant when it comes to self-knowledge, including in the area of sexuality and relationships. Understanding your true desires and needs is the key to a fulfilling life. In Western societies, legs have become one of the most common fetish zones. This shows how diverse and sometimes unexpected human sexuality can be, finding erotic potential in a variety of body parts. Now about male vulnerability. There is an opinion that many men ignore or do not attach importance to. Excessive, uncontrolled displays of vulnerability, such as frequent tears in front of your partner in certain situations, can negatively affect her level of emotional and sexual attraction. Before you diagnose yourself with depression and low self-esteem, make sure you are not surrounded by idiots, Freud noted ironically. Perhaps the key is not in suppressing feelings, but in adequately and dosedly expressing them, without turning into a permanent state of victimhood. This does not mean that a man should be an insensitive idol, far from it. But the way he expresses his sensitivity directly affects the dynamics of desire in a couple. To awaken a woman's genuine, deep interest, you need to go beyond obvious stimuli. Zones such as the legs, the already mentioned chest, neck, and back of the head, have enormous erotic potential, but they are often forgotten in the pursuit of more direct techniques. Part 4. Biology, Behavior, and the Secret Language of Women. Want to understand a man more deeply? Take a look at his friends. They often serve as a mirror of his true nature. And remember the wisdom of life. Do not waste your energy arguing with provocateurs. By entering their game, you only sink to their level, where experience in such battles is most often on their side. Now about the sore issue of male size. It is important to realize that the average penis size is in most cases absolutely sufficient for female satisfaction. The obsession with gigantism is largely a myth supported by the industry of complexes, and not by real needs. Sigmund Freud wrote, "Your personality is only as big as the problem that can upset you." Perhaps true male confidence is not about inches, but about inner strength and the ability to give pleasure, a priceless truth of life. Finances can be restored, love can be tried to be returned, but neglect of one's own health is irreversible. No amount of wealth can buy lost years and opportunities. Taking care of the body is not selfishness, but a foundation. When faced with toxicity, there are two paths: firm confrontation or complete distancing. Compromise is rarely comfortable or effective. For many women, a kiss is not just a physical act, but a moment of deep emotional intensity, a barometer of relationships, much more significant than for men, who often focus on the physics of gesture. Think about it. The fear of death often masks a deeper fear: not living life to the fullest, not realizing your potential. Those who live authentically are not afraid of the end, because they know that every moment was used. Anger, being natural, is destructive, first of all, for the one who experiences it, burning from the inside. It is curious that watching romance or listening to love melodies intensifies emotional experiences and the desire for spiritual closeness in women. These stimuli activate the brain centers associated with attachment, influencing the perception of attractiveness. A man's emotional state greatly affects his attractiveness in the eyes of a woman, especially during sensitive periods of her cycle. During ovulation, When a woman's libido is at its peak, she may subconsciously be drawn to thoughts of romantic adventures, even outside of a relationship, an ancient call of nature. Even simply watching a woman passionately choosing an outfit can cause a man to suddenly become aroused, playing on primal instincts. Part 5. Age-related aspects of sexuality, everyday habits, and facts about attraction and health. The perception of time is surprisingly flexible. Pleasant moments with a charming person fly by, while unpleasant situations stretch seconds into eternity. Our emotions literally mold the surrounding reality. A man's natural scent, especially pheromones, can have an almost magical effect on female desire, creating deep instinctive connections and awakening strong feelings. As Freud noted, we are never so defenseless as when we love, and never so hopelessly unhappy as when we lose the object of love or its love. The chemistry of attraction certainly plays a significant role here. The path to harmony in relationships, like any long journey, begins with the first step. Observations show that a woman of 30 to 40 years often demonstrates a more active sexual appetite and interest in a variety of contacts, including casual ones, which may be associated with greater confidence and understanding of her desires. Experts note that the peak of female arousal is often achieved with the simultaneous stimulation of several erogenous zones, such as the breasts and intimate area, emphasizing the versatility of female pleasure. Live in the present. This is the key to harmony. Obsessing over the past or worrying about the future is a waste of energy. The myth that women dress up only for men is far from the truth. More often than not, they do it for themselves, for confidence, self-awareness, and control. Choosing clothes is a complex ritual that depends on mood, plans, cycle, and even accessories. Women in emotionally comfortable relationships are usually more energetic. With age, many prefer older men, appreciating their emotional maturity and reliability, and not just their physical fitness. An active sex life, as research confirms, improves mood and significantly strengthens women's immunity, an important but little discussed benefit. Prolonged eye contact is a classic sign of female interest, and the time spent choosing clothes, 15 to 20 minutes or more, is not just fashion, but a reflection of identity and emotional state. Intimate preferences are varied. Some people love morning passion. Certain positions, like doggy style, can facilitate orgasm. About 70% of women value depth and emotional connection in sex, no less than the physical aspect. A woman's lips are one of the most sensitive areas. A light touch or a compliment can cause a strong response. A woman's handbag is a world of foresight, readiness for unlikely but possible situations, and women's orgasms, surprisingly, have no expiration date, delighting even after 90 years. However, sometimes arousal can be accompanied by sadness, reflecting the depth and contradiction of female emotions. When a woman is attracted, her voice can involuntarily become higher and faster, an involuntary sign of arousal. And finally, about men. Their sperm contains zinc and calcium, studied for their antioxidant properties. Stimulating a man's nipples, often ignored, can also increase sexual desire. Part 6. Secrets revealed. What's next? All these facts and observations, dear viewers, show the incredible complexity and versatility of human sexuality, emotional and instinctive. It is much deeper than we are accustomed to thinking. Understanding these nuances can radically change the interactions between men and women, both in the bedroom and in everyday life. If you found this material useful and thought-provoking, please share it with your friends and family. Your participation helps us move forward. Your opinion is very important to us. Tell us in the comments what surprised you most or made you think, what topics you would like to see in the future. And if you watch to the end, please know that we incredibly appreciate your attention. Your subscription and like are the best local currency for our efforts. We have put a lot of effort into making this material interesting and useful for you. Thank you for being with us.